All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Well, good evening and welcome to the All Sports All Plays. This is ASAP Real Talk. I'm your host, Freddie. I'm joined with the one and only Coach Cam. I'm joined with the one and only Chris.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, we'll let everybody say hello.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing?
What's up? What's up? Glad to be here.
Hey, what's going on? Happy to be here. Let's get it. Let's knock it out.
Man, we had an eventful weekend, this past weekend on All Sports All Plays. It started with the college football action on Saturday, topped off with a marquee analyst on Sunday night with Rob Parker. How was that?
Doing tonight? I mean, listen, for me, that was incredible. Not only did he, give his take on the opinion that if I had more time to rebuttal, Freddie, if I had more time, what I would have said. Coach Cam knew. We'll talk about that Jordan and LeBron thing. If I had more time, I would have went in because, I spit some stuff to him that he hasn't heard before. But all in all, man, he was a great guest. He dropped a lot of gems, when it comes to the sports journalism world, writing, reporting on TV. He dropped a lot of gems. But he disrespected LeBron, Freddie, and I didn't have enough time to take up for him. I didn't have enough time, so he got lucky there. He got lucky, but best believe we ever get him here again, I gotta spit everything like this, rapid fire.
I will say this: right after the show, I messaged him. I said, "Man, I'm sorry that I was traveling to work. Wi-Fi was messed up, but you best believe I want you back on the show again, just so I can get my input on there." And he said he'll come back anytime we want him. So just stay tuned to that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that for sure.
There you go. So hey, how about we just get right into it? Let's get some ads going. Coach Cam, hit us off with the first one.
Yo, we got Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry and Accessories, home of the $5 jewelry. It's Christmas time coming up. You never know how the situation may be. Perfect time, perfect gift here. Suzanne Paparazzi's. You can go on the website, www.paparazziaccessories.com. Code 160920. Get your $5 jewelry and a nice gift for your lady.
Coach Cam, you mean to tell me that I can buy my girl a necklace for $5?
Sure can.
A good
necklace at that.
Yes,
you have me at $5. Tell you what.
Hey, Chris.
Yes,
didn't the network give Brandon Herrera a free T-shirt last month?
Well, technically, he gave me a free thank you, Brandon, for that. He gave it to me. But yes, and let's talk about how, a fan can win this free T-shirt. You can win this by commenting on when we're on live on the shows, sharing the shows, liking the page, and sharing the page. At the end of the month, we're going to tally up, which each fan is, of the network has been doing. Whoever, tallies up the most points overall is going to get that free T-shirt, that free, beautiful ASAP Network T-shirt. Look at that thing, man. It's nice.
But Chris, let's say if somebody just wanted to buy it, how can they buy it?
Well, if you just want to buy the shirt, message us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Send us a message, on the ASAP platform saying that you want a T-shirt. T-shirt's only $25 plus shipping and handling. You'll get a nice ASAP Network T-shirt to your ASAP. Believe that.
All right, before we get into it, I need to let everybody know where you can find us at. You can find us out on Facebook, of course, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and we added another platform real soon. I'm not
Yes,
going
sir.
to announce it just yet, but real soon. Okay. All right. Well, let's get right off into it. All right. All right. The first topic of the day, man. Did we see a game last night or did we not? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Saints. And let's be honest, man. Yesterday I think we all expected that game to be close, to be not to be a blowout. But did we see a blowout or did we? 38-3. Did we expect that? Will, what is your thoughts on that, man?
Hey, you asked if we saw a game or did we not? We definitely didn't. I mean, the Bucs did not show up to play. It was definitely a one-sided showing, especially for New Orleans. I mean, you would like to think, especially seeing how they played Week 1, that it would be a lot closer. I thought Tampa was going to find a way to hopefully come out and get a win at least this week, especially after playing them close Week 1. They were non-existent. They could have thrown anybody out there on the field against New Orleans. I mean, it was kind of pitiful. I mean, the New Orleans Saints defense had answers for everything. The offense was firing on all cylinders. I mean, they kind of really shut down this team and what a lot of people think is the favorite in the NFC. I mean, a lot of people think the Bucs could be a top 5 team in the NFL. And really, they made them look like a Pop Warner team last night. I mean, it was almost pitiful to watch. I mean, it was not fun for me. Being from a guy who spent the last 12 years in Tampa, I'm not a Bucs fan, but man, that was tough to watch just for my friends that I know are. I mean, that was pitiful.
Chris, I see you shaking your head down there, and I think I know where you're going with this. So let's go ahead and give the viewers what they want, man.
I'm in here looking through my notes trying to figure out how I can defend Tampa, but let's just throw the notes out the window, okay? I cannot defend a performance like that from somebody that they call a GOAT. Now, personally, to Will's point, I had this team number 2 on my list. If they would have won this game, they would have stamped that spot at number 2. I have Kansas City number 1. I think they're by far the best team. But for me, I love this Tampa team on offense and on defense. You go get Antonio Brown this week. Guys are healthy, so they say, okay, you're going against the Saints. The first week, you can't say, oh, we didn't play together that much. Players aren't healthy. But you go into week 9, and outside of one offensive lineman, Tom Brady still has those weapons. And, I mean, they got dominated from the get-go. They didn't establish the run at all. They only had 5 carries on the night. How do you go to Leonard Fournette and you only have 5 carries? The first thing you should do is try to establish the run. To me, when I look at this, does this remind you of the Lakers and the Clippers? You got to – does this remind you of the Lakers and the Clippers? And, Freddie, you're shaking your head, Yeah, but let's remember the Lakers team lost 2 before they won 1. So because the Buccaneers now, they're not winning the division, in my opinion. They're going to be a wild card spot. So let's say the Buccaneers go against the Saints in the playoffs. Do you like those guys winning? At this point, I don't know. Because when you get beat like this, there's a problem. But I will say this. I think the Buccaneers, they're going to bounce back. But this is something that this is defining their season right now. You can't beat the team in your own division when you're supposed to be the new up-and-coming team everybody liked and loved. And you've shown that this Saints team just dominated you 2 weeks. I'm disappointed in the Buccaneers. I'm disappointed in Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and that defense because they all started for me in our ASAP Network fantasy team. All 3 of them. I benched Kyler Murray. I benched the Baltimore defense. I forgot what tight end I benched. All for all these Buccaneers teams because I thought it was going to be a good offensive game. Tom Brady gave me like 1 point. Rob Gronkowski gave me a point. The defense gave me -1 point, and they made me lose to Nate. You're not disappointed I am that they made me lose to Nate. I'm done. The Buccaneers, they're in a world of pain right now, and deservingly so. They play like garbage.
Chris, the reason why I was shaking my head like this, I actually used that analogy at work today with one of my coworkers, and I brought the situation up to them about the Lakers and the Clippers. Coach Cam, wait before you go, Brandon Rivers said, "What up, you guys? What's up with it, Brandon?
What's up with it, Brandon?
He also said it is hard to beat the team 3 times in one season. Well,
that is true.
You're not wrong.
All right, Coach Cam.
I put this a lot on Bruce Arians. I put this game a lot on Tom Brady. But you gotta give credit to the Saints. Like I was talking, I did pick the Bucs. I thought the Bucs would win a close one. especially when we talked with Rob Parker. But I said I was
Mhm.
concerned. I said I was concerned about one thing, and if the Saints been able to move Tom Brady off his spot early, and they were able to do that early. And one thing about Tom Brady, once you get to him, he start ducking in the pocket, throwing off his back foot, doing strange things once you get to him. And Tom Brady looks relatively pedestrian once you get to him, and he's 43. You can't stand that pass rush, play after play. And I'm starting to get concerned with the Tampa Bay, but I know it's one game, and this is why I'm concerned. It's because they brought in AB, and it seemed like their whole mindset changed. It seemed like their whole mindset changed. Like, okay, we got to get AB the ball. We can't forget about Mike Evans. We still got Godwin. We still got Scotty Miller. It's like, no, 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 no. You still have to run the football. You brought in Leonard Fournette for a reason. All right. I don't understand how he does not get a carry first and goal from the one, and he doesn't get a carry. They gave it to Ronald Jones once, two-face to Mike Evans, and a pass to Gronkowski. Um, Tampa Bay has to find an identity quick going into December. And if they don't find an identity relatively quick, they will be heading home early rather than later come playoff time.
I mean, you said it right there. That they tried to force feed Antonio Brown maybe too much, maybe to change away from the games. So speaking of Antonio Brown, what did you guys thoughts on AB? Chris?
I mean, I think for it being first game back, and it feels like on a year and a half, he didn't play that bad. He didn't play that bad. It was times that Tom Brady could have, gave him the ball more. But Tom Brady had a lot of bad throws. If you watch the game, he overthrew a lot of people. He underthrew a lot of people. It wasn't just the Tom Brady we're accustomed to. So I think for it to be his first game back, he did what's expected. He caught the ball a lot. And made a little bit of plays. Nobody thought he was going to be out here dominating like prime AB, but they thought he'd be effective, and I think he was effective.
All right. Well, Brandon Herrera, he got me said, "Well, Chris, you're a fool for benching them guys."
Man, I'm a fool. I am. I can't even defend my own self. That's how you know when life is bad.
Adam Barber said, "Did you hear about the 3 experts on ESPN and Fox Sports that said Brady need more weapons?"
Now that's ridiculous.
That's a joke.
That's ridiculous. Because listen, I hate to bring my team up, but I gotta bring my team up. You talking about everybody? Will, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan now. We don't. What's your team?
I'm a Bears fan.
See, we cool. Listen, you took my leftovers and Nick Foles. We're good, but listen,
I don't want to.
But listen,
you took our double doink, so
we did. My God, but you talk about a team that's hurt and they're not complaining about weapons. They're not saying this, that, and the third. You look at other teams that don't have the best weapons. Like Tennessee, they have good weapons. They don't have the best. Tampa Bay is loaded. Tampa Bay, you can argue, has the same amount of weapons as Kansas City. You don't hear Kansas City say we need more weapons. They're locked and loaded. So for them, just defend Tom Brady, they're in the Tom Brady, their lover squirrel. They just love Tom Brady so much he can do no wrong, especially Skip Bayless. Oh, I heard Skip Bayless saying, "Oh, well, Shannon. No, Skip, your quarterback played bad. Hold him accountable like you hold other quarterbacks accountable."
To Chris's point, I mean, the Buccaneers, they're loaded, yes, such like Kansas City, but I would argue that their weapons are even more loaded than Kansas City. I mean, whenever you look at a wide receiver core, would you rather have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and Chris Godwin, or would you rather have Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and Mecole Hardman? I mean, I know my answer. I'm going with Tampa Bay's wide receiver core. I mean, Gronkowski and Kelsey, they're both amazing tight ends. Yeah, Gronkowski may be a little bit out of his prime, but I mean, Tampa Bay arguably has the best weapons in the NFL, especially when it comes to receiving the ball. And to look like that, I mean, I don't think I've seen Tom Brady spike his helmet into the ground or a Microsoft Surface into the ground this season more than he ever has in his 20-year career. I mean, he just seems completely out of his element.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And also, and let's give Drew Brees credit, man. We haven't said anything about Drew Brees. I know Michael Thomas comeback help. It helps everybody on that offense. However, Drew Brees was looking vintage last night, surgical. When you talk about 12 different players get completions, come on, man, that's insane. I've never seen that. That's all your tight ends, running backs, fullbacks, receivers. That's everybody getting involved. Backup quarterback catching 5 catches. So I mean, you got to give credit to Drew Brees. He came out, he looked like he was laser sharp focused. Like, I'm not gonna let Tom Brady come in here and steal my division. And it's the Saints on the mountaintop until somebody come knock them off.
All right, you guys, let's keep moving on. But Chris, man, we have a lot of viewers on right now. I just think it's appropriate that we let these viewers know how do they get this T-shirt, man.
Listen, keep commenting. I see y'all out there. Shout out to everybody commenting. Like the page, like the video, share the page, share the video. We're gonna tally up at the end. Whatever fan does it the most, you're gonna get yourself a beautiful ASAP T-shirt, and it's beautiful. I gotta admit, it's beautiful.
All right. Well, so after seeing what happened last night. Are the Bucks the number one team in the NFC? I mean, we have the Saints, you have the Green Bay, you have Seattle, and you have the Bucks. I mean, are they still your number one pick, Coach Cam?
No, absolutely not. They're not my number one pick. Not after last night. They can't be. Like I said, they have to find an identity. I thought they were finding an identity starting to come down the stretch, but. Like I said, it seemed like they just hit a 360. Once AB got hit there, it's like, we got to just chuck the ball and, throw the ball every play. That's not going to get it done. I see it, I still like Seattle. I really do. I understand they lost to Buffalo. I still like Seattle's a better team. I even like the Cardinals. I really like them a lot as well. I just – it's an identity crisis, and it's something to be said about when you don't know what you're gonna get week in and week out from a team, and and for me, I can't have them as the number one. They're up there, they're contenders. I'm not saying they're not, but as far as the number one team in the NFC, I can't have them up there right now. Not after that performance.
Chris, look like Brandon's on your good side. He said I would take the Eagles over the Bucks just to keep Chris.
My guy.
I'm glad he added just to keep Chris happy.
Me too.
But Coach Cam, who's your number one though?
Who's my number one right now?
Yeah.
Even with the law, I still have the Seattle Seahawks, the number one right now. I still have the number one. Going on the East Coast, that ain't never easy. But I got Seattle. I think there's no one I would take in the one game, playoff than Russell Wilson right now.
Hot take. I think Nate's gonna have to. He said I put them at 4 behind the Saints, Seahawks, and the Packers. Nate, you got to come on the show one day so I can put some humble pie on you because I think you will have to do that. My Packers are. Yeah, I'm sorry, I like the Packers, but they're not better than the Bucks team. All right, Chris, go ahead.
Listen, cannot defend the Buccaneers anymore.
How many notes do you have?
Too many on the team that I had being my number one. I mean, you should have heard me. I was hyping up this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. And not because, I'm a Buccaneers fan, but when you look at the talent on this team, why can't you believe in it? I was a firm believer this year they're going to be dominant. Last year they were 7-9. 6 of those losses are by 6 points or less. So I thought, they were going to kill the NFL this year. After this game, they're not my number one. For me, I have to tip my head off at the Saints. Seattle's number 2. But right now, when I look at the Saints, they're playing more complete than anybody right now. They are, even though Seattle defense, they're the worst. It was a stretch that the Saints defense were bad, but they showed that they can get after a quarterback better than, the Seattle. They have better corners than Seattle, better playmakers on that defense than Seattle. And, to Coach Cam's credit, I do trust Russell Wilson at the end. But I still got some trust for Drew Brees still. Even though I knock him, I still got some trust for Drew Brees hitting that slant to Michael Thomas and 5 yards turning to 80. Something about that can't be stopped, and I'm going to tip my head off to that and give them the number one.
All right, Will.
So I'm kind of like in between Cam and Chris here. I mean, whenever I look at the two teams, those are my two teams that I see 1 and 2 between Seattle and New Orleans. But it becomes, do I trust Drew Brees, who has been like a little bit lackluster this season? At least, I mean, he's getting older, but he's not playing up to old Drew Brees numbers. Or do I trust, the Russell Wilson, who's playing MVP numbers, but his defense is completely sus on the other side of the ball? I'm going to stick with Cam here. I'm going to go with Seattle. I trust Russell Wilson just with the way he's playing. I think any day he's been coming out, he has the ability to play above that terrible defense that has been playing on the opposite side of the ball. The Saints have been playing well, don't get me wrong, but similar to what somebody had commented in, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times. If they run into somebody like the Bucs, I think it could be a little bit of a trouble for them. It's really hard to say that after last night, but just because of Russell Wilson's play, I'm going to have to stick with the Seattle.
You want me to read this for you, Freddie? Let me read it for you.
Yeah, you can read it.
Freddie Henderson, I'm disappointed in you betting against that bad man. This is all, Will. Every show, all you hear is, it's a bad man, because Freddie, he's a New York Packers fan. He's a Giants fan when it suits him, and they're Packers fans when it suits him. That's why I call him Mr. Delusional. But you're right. The Packers are not the best team in the NFC, coming from a Packers fan. And my take on that is I love the Packers, but Coach Camden said something I feel like for the last month. Their trenches, terrible. They're too weak. And until they fix that problem, they're not going to be able to, dominate in the playoffs. And I think that's going to hold them back.
I mean, I don't have to say too much more about the Packers. Y'all know how I feel. Aaron Rodgers, he's a bad, bad man. But at the end of the day, when you have an organization that just sits there and relies on this man year after year after year, like, even if you don't get his dude a wide receiver, okay, fix other holes. You have holes in his defense. Fix the holes, and they've yet to fix the holes. It seemed like last year I'm not going to go too far in this, but we have time, but it seemed like they was trending in the right direction on the defensive end, but they took a step back this year. So that's all I have to say. Let's move. Let's keep it moving. All right. Should the 49ers move on from Jimmy G? I mean, hey, this is the same Jimmy G that Bill Belichick was high on, you guys. Hey, they did not want to get rid of him. If it was not for Tom Brady, I believe this dude would be the quarterback for the New England Patriots right now. They're fourth in their division. I mean, their division is not the easiest division, and that's the hardest division in the NFC, probably more than likely this year. They were able to go to the playoffs, but it looked like they're falling behind. He is dealing with injuries, with an ankle injury this year. They're 4-5, fourth in the division. So, is it time to move on from Jimmy G? We'll start with Will on this one.
So the way I look at that is that if you're going to move on from Jimmy G, you need to get somebody equally or better than Jimmy G if you're going to move on. You can't be making moves backwards. This team is, as you mentioned, is probably in the hardest division in the NFC, arguably with the AFC North, the hardest division in the NFL. All 4 teams are competing this year, and if it wasn't for all the injury trouble that San Francisco's had, they'd be in a lot better of a spot. They've had George Kittle go down, Jimmy Garoppolo, every single running back they've ever signed. Nick Bosa's gone down. I mean, they've seen a lot of injury issues. And so, he's a game manager. He's not exactly going to go out there and make that huge play, but they don't really have, other than Deebo Samuel, kinda, and George Kittle, who's been battling injury this season, they don't really have that big play guy anyway. So, I mean, Jimmy G's honestly a really decent fit out there in San Francisco. I don't see why they would move on right now, maybe if this trend continues, because they have a team and especially a defense that can compete for number 1 in that division. And if they're still seeing a little bit of lackluster performance on the offensive side of the ball, then I see it. But right now, I think it's a little bit too early to let the go of Jimmy G.
Brandon Herrera said, yes, they can have Kirk Cousins in 3.
See, that's what I said. You need to go forward or lateral, not down.
Not backwards.
Kirk Cousins is down.
Oh, man. Will, you made some good points, man. Especially, you can't go backwards, especially at the quarterback position. You can always get worse. But it's interesting. I say you kind of roll the dice and move on with it. I think you just got to be careful. I don't say you just go out and just cutting, you know what I mean, and be reckless with it. But if you're in a position where, say, the 49ers finish 6-10 and, they're in the middle of the first round and perhaps maybe, I know there's the kid out of North Dakota State, Trey Lance is there, and they try to, pick him to possibly, groom behind, Jimmy G or something like that. I look at him to do something of that nature because all the guaranteed money is now gone in that contract, so they can virtually release him for nothing and and get a lot of that money back. it's going to be interesting to see how they want to move forward because the Super Bowl told a lot, man. You know, Cal Shanahan didn't want to end that game like that. He wanted to really keep the foot on the throat, and he realized he couldn't with Jimmy G, and he had to kind of, protect them, and it cost him. It cost him a Super Bowl title, to be quite honest with you. For me, I would look at my options. I wouldn't necessarily get rid of him. But I would definitely look at my options to, upgrade that position and look into the draft and drafting the quarterback because outside of the injuries, if you look at all the other positions, you're really just a quarterback away because I know they have Kittle, they have Samuel. I do like the rookie Brandon
I do
Ayuk.
too.
I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have the weapons to have a good line. The trenches is good with with 2 or 3 running backs. So I like what they have overall.
All right, Chris, I got a special question for you.
Okay.
This team was on the verge of winning a Super Bowl. I still think this team, if you add another weapon on the wideout spot, they can still be that team to compete for a championship if they have the right leader in place. So we talk about a dude up there in Green Bay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What if the 49ers get like Coach Cam said, somewhere a good draft pick? Would you be willing to trade the draft pick and Jimmy G to Green Bay for that bad man and Aaron Rodgers and compete now? Or would you rather go draft a young quarterback at the future and try to hope develop him into that quarterback to lead you to the championship?
Well, Tom Brady's how old? Somebody answered
40.
Uh-huh. And he still looks relatively good, right?
Yeah.
For the most part,
Drew Brees looks relatively good, right?
Yeah.
None of those dudes can even come close to the passer Aaron Rodgers is. So you mean to tell me you got an already made roster, dominating the trenches, a great defense, who we got to look at it, almost everybody that's really, really great in that defense is hurt this year. Because I think if they just came back healthy from last year to this year, they would be one of the top teams in their division, which I think personally is the best division in football because there's no drop off. Like, no offense, Coach Cam, the Bengals just aren't ready, but I think they will be. But yes, of course, I would give up a lot to go get Aaron Rodgers because he's a quarterback I can trust. If I don't have all the weapons around me, he showed that he can make receivers around him better. He showed that he can dominate within the game plan. So to answer the question about Jimmy G, is it time for them to let him go? Like Will said, if I can't get anything on that same level, but really better than him, then I'm not letting him go because he still got you to the Super Bowl by, being that game manager. But if I can have a chance to go get a better quarterback, I need that better quarterback because what if we don't get the best weapons? What if we just have Debo, the rookie, I don't want to butcher his name, and George Kittle? Can you trust Jimmy G to really make plays on 3rd and 12? Can you trust Jimmy G in the 4th quarter to make, you're down 10 with 7 minutes? Can you trust him not to make any mistakes? I mean, that's a question that a lot of people say no, they don't trust him. So I personally think if you can get a better quarterback, go get him. No disrespect to Jimmy G, but if you ask me Jimmy G and Aaron Rodgers, I'm trading away a lot to go get Aaron Rodgers because at least I know with a great team around him, I can count on him.
Nate said I can't see him go.
Take that comment off.
Yeah.
Take that comment off.
They say Aaron Rodgers is going in.
Take that comment off too. Why would they draft their quarterback if he's not going anywhere? Come on now. See, Nate, man, you taking Freddie's name is Mr. Delusional. That's all I gotta say.
All right, let's keep it moving, gentlemen. Prediction on the wildcard team for the NFC and the AFC. We'll start with Chris on this. Chris, who's your NFC wildcard team and your AFC wildcard team?
Well, for the NFC, you got to look at the two best divisions right there. You have the South and you have the West. So now that Tampa Bay lost, they're going to be a wild card team unless I doubt the Saints are going to lose that many games. So the Buccaneers are going to be a wild card team. Then you have the Cardinals are going to be a wild card team. I mean, they're dominating right now. They had a crazy loss to Miami, but I do think they're a very, very good team. And then I think the Rams are going to be able to sneak in there. I don't trust the Bears. Sorry, Will. I just don't trust them. I trust the Rams. I trust the head coach. I trust the offense and the defense. So I think we're going to see a potential 3 teams in one division, in the NFC make it. You want me to get my AFC or you want to go around?
No, you can go to AFC too.
AFC. So this is going to be a shocker. I have the Ravens. I think Baltimore with their schedule, and the fact that they have 0 losses right now, I think they're not going to have it. I think honestly, they're going to win their division this year. Their schedule is cake. They go against Baltimore one more time. If they win that, it's over. And that, another game's at the end of the year. So I had Baltimore being a division spot, a wild card spot. I had the Tennessee Titans being a wild card spot. In the beginning of the year, I had the Colts to win that division. And the Colts are playing really, really well. And I can trust the Colts right now more than I can trust the Titans. The Titans started off hot and they slowed down. And to end it off, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins. I'm not going to lie. It came down between the Dolphins and the Raiders. I think the Raiders are legit. I don't trust the Browns, so if anybody's going to say that, no. Brandon, where's the Viking love? No, on the Viking love at all. Sorry for that. But, yeah, honestly, I had the Dolphins being a surprise team going into the year. Tua right now is 2-0. You look at the game, he beat the Rams. He really didn't have to do much. But this game, he had to do a lot. And to me, it showed that he's a very talented quarterback. So they have, honestly, a very good defense. I think the number one scoring defense. So if you have a good defense, you could be successful in the NFL, and I trust their defense better than I trust some of the other teams that, are decent at wild card potential. I trust the Miami Dolphins defense more. So those are my three.
Right,
Notice I didn't say the Eagles because we're winning the division. So, just to put that out there.
All right, Coach.
Oh man, so wild card teams in the NFC, kind of the same there. I do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as one of the wild card teams after last night. Saints 2-0 in that division there with both winning both games. They got the tiebreaker. So I kind of see New Orleans winning that there. And you have to go to the NFC West, where I believe that the Cardinals will be another wild card team there. And I'm looking at it there. It came down to the Bears and obviously the Rams. The 49ers is too beat up.
Yeah.
The 49ers is too beat up. And I don't believe in either the Bears or the Rams, to be quite honest with you. I don't like either one of them. I have to lean towards the Rams just because it's Goff over Foles for me. It's McVay over Gase for me. And I'm not saying Adam Gase is bad. I'm not saying that as a slight on Adam Gase. I'm just saying that far as, Sean McVay, I think he'll get those things. Also, man, I know they have Khalil Mack, but like I said, I think Aaron Donald's one of the best defensive players in the game, if not the best. It's something about pass rush up the middle. So I have those three, making it out the NFC. In the AFC, it's interesting. I have the Colts as a wild card. I don't trust Phillip Rivers. That arm, in December. Those passes, they get real solid, get real duck-like, towards down the stretch. So I don't trust Phillip Rivers, going into December that much. Another wild card team I have, this is crazy. I know I'm out my mind. I have the Steelers as a wild card team. I still think the Ravens could win this division. It's something about the Steelers at 8-0. I'm not saying they're looking terrible, but they're barely getting by with some of these games.
Yeah,
and eventually that's going to come back to bite you. I do see and even though that the schedule's easy down the stretch, but teams look to play spoiler. Teams play hard. I still think there are some games on that schedule that could give them a little bit of trouble. Especially the way that they're playing football right now. I still think the Ravens can win that division. I really do. And the last wild card spot, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. I like, Josh Jacobs. One thing you got to be able to do is, run the football effectively, when it comes December. And, it shows us in playoffs time and time again. You can have all the passing attack in the world, but if you look at the Titans down the stretch last year, they relied on the running game. Anybody that advanced in the playoffs last year had a solid run game behind them, even the Chiefs with Damian Williams. So something about Josh Jacobs in that running game. I got the Las Vegas Raiders in the final wild card spot.
All right, we have Miss Madison Edwin just commented. She said the Steelers shouldn't have won that game last night.
Exactly, Madison. Yes.
They shouldn't have won a lot of games. They can honestly be 5-3 right now.
Right.
They could, but Yeah, I feel you that on the Ravens side, but they'd have to get 3 losses, and they could lose a lot. They could have lost a lot of these games, but at the end of the day, they got the victory. And right now, you don't trust the Steelers. I don't either, but I got some questions about Baltimore right now too.
All right, Will, did you?
So starting in the NFC, similar to both of y'all, I have to start with the NFC South. If you would have asked me last week, I would have said the Saints would be the first wild card. Now this week, as mentioned, after watching them play, especially with this first game with Antonio Brown, I don't know if it's a culture shock like Cam said, but just for the way they played, how stagnant they looked last night, I'm going to have to put them as the number 1 in the wild card. I think that the Saints will find a way to take that division. Going out to the NFC West, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals as my number 2. I love the way Kyler Murray has been playing. I think their defense has been playing above standards, at least, or I should say above expectations, rather. I think they have a couple of games that they could find themselves winning, and I think that they have a lot of key divisional games that'll come down to it, so it'll see how they play down the stretch. But I like the Cardinals in a lot of those games. And I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears. Whenever it comes down to the Rams and the Bears, similar to what Coach Cam said, and whenever I look at the Bears' schedule, they still have to play the Lions twice. They still have to play a very below expectations Vikings team twice. They have to play the Texans, and they have to play the Jaguars. Those are easily winnable games. I mean, if that defense plays the way that they do, and the offense can come out somewhat competent, they don't even have to play average. They have to be there. They have to show up and put up yards. That's all they have to do, and they should win at least 5 of those games. So because of that, I'm going to go with the Bears as my final wild card team in the NFC. On the AFC side, I don't see the Steelers collapsing like that. I'm going to have to go Baltimore as the number 1. They shouldn't have won last night. I mean, they almost lost to the AAF MVP, which should tell you enough as it is. But they, again, as Chris said, they've found a way to sneak out those victories every single time. They went 8-8 last year with a third-string quarterback. They're 8-0 to start the season this year. So that should let you know just how much the offense has changed, at least in that standpoint. And that defense has the potential to hold anybody back. So I'm going to go with the Ravens as the first wild card team. I'm going to go with the Colts as the second wild card as well. I don't trust Phillip Rivers, like Cam said. That defense is very locked down, but Phillip Rivers has got a noodle. I mean, he is a game manager similar to Jimmy G. I mean, he is not out there to make the big play. He is not out there to make the late game comeback. He's out there to fill a void. And then whenever it comes to the final AFC spot, I'm also going to go with the Raiders. I don't trust the Cleveland Browns enough to put them in there. And the Raiders have been a team that I've been relatively high on so far this season. Derek Carr has been playing pretty well. Josh Jacobs has been one of the better running backs in the league so far. And their defense is playing well above expectation. I mean, whenever you talk about do you trust the Browns, I mean, they held the Browns to 6 points. So that should let you know where the Raiders defense stands. I've been really high on the Raiders so far this season, and I'm going to continue riding that high that the Silver and Blacks got me on. So I'm going to put them as the final wild card team in the AFC.
Man, Will, I got a question. Do you know this Madison? Because she is.
I do. That's actually a really good friend of mine. We may have dated back in the days.
Well,
the Bears suck. I know. There's a whole entire thing. I have my own podcast. You can check out why I talk about how much my team sucks all the time. So trust me.
Hey, trust me. I understand.
We all do.
I understand, brother. Trust me.
It's tough.
All right, there's somebody on this show that's real petty, and he keeps throwing shots at me. And I'm not going to say no name, but this next picture is a shot at him. This next topic is, who is the most overrated player in the NFL?
Please tell me nobody else.
Please don't do this to yourself.
Nobody on this show is saying Aaron Rodgers, right?
Please don't do this to yourself.
That's not the oof.
Please don't do this to yourself. Please go to me first.
I realize what this is. I realize what that was.
Please don't do this to yourself.
Chris, you go ahead and go.
Chris, you have fun.
How can you call somebody overrated when 4 of his all-pro offensive linemen get hurt? How can you call somebody overrated where all 4 of his wide receivers go down? How can you call somebody overrated when his starting running back gets injured? How can you call somebody overrated when his 2 star tight ends get hurt? How do you call somebody overrated when his entire offense is taken away from him? It just blows my mind. You do this to any other quarterback, and they're getting the benefit of the doubt. The past 3 years, he showed you what he can do on the football field. This year's team is more hurt than anybody's team ever. I've never seen Tom Brady. I've never seen Peyton Manning. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers. The entire offensive line get taken from them. Their wide receivers get taken from them. Their tight ends get taken from them, and their running back. I just never seen that happen to a quarterback. So for everybody to call him overrated, let me see your quarterback do this when you take away everything from him. So when you talk about me, who's the most overrated player this year, I got to go on the defensive side. I'm going to Jadeveon Clowney. Freddie, I don't know why you thought I'd say Aaron Rodgers. I only took shots at him because he lost 2 games that they should have won. That's all. But when I talk about overrated, Jadeveon Clowney wanted the max. Jadeveon Clowney wanted money from everybody. Jadeveon Clowney, everybody thought was going to be the next pass rusher. He didn't do anything in Seattle. Then this year going to the Titans, everybody thought he had a bounce back year. Personally, I thought he was going to help that defense a lot. Talking about a guy that has 0 sacks right now. A guy that only has 3 QB hits. Where's Jadeveon Clowney at? I mean, it's like he shows up to play one week, and then he doesn't show up to play another week. This year, he hasn't showed up at all. So Jadeveon Clowney to me has been a waste of a trade. I mean, a waste of a signing for this Tennessee Titans team. Everybody thought this was going to establish their defense, and their defense probably is one of the worst defenses right now that I'm seeing. They had to trade for a cornerback, but I think the problem is still pass rush. And you go sit down, sign a Jadeveon Clowney, he doesn't show up. To me, I don't think anybody's been more disappointing this year than Jadeveon.
All right, Will.
Wow. You want to talk about a guy who almost swayed me to his opinion? That was rough. I didn't know Jadeveon Clowney was doing that bad. That is terrible. Okay. Well, other than Jadeveon Clowney, I'd have to. Whenever I was sitting there looking at it, and I was trying to think. Whenever I think of overrated, it's expectation as opposed to what they're actually doing to me. So he might not be having that bad of a season. I mean, he's not going to come up to what he did last season. But I keep hearing, the MVP plays in purple. The MVP plays in purple. Lamar Jackson. His stats aren't there. I mean, whenever he comes up, yeah, it's hard to emulate an MVP season. I understand that. And sophomore slump has shown to be a very real thing. But whenever you look at his play, at least from a numbers standpoint, I mean, he's on pace to do like half of what he did last season. And I keep hearing, the MVP plays in purple. All this. Yeah, they're playing great. They also have one of the best defenses in the NFL. So, I mean, as long as, again, it's another one of those Bears situations. So as long as your offense goes out there and you're competent, you should win games. And I think just because that win-loss record, I think that his performance has been kind of overlooked. And I whenever I took a look into the stats for it, I'm tired of hearing the Lamar Jackson hype, at least for this season. I'm sick of it. I don't know if it's me, just because I don't think he should be in an MVP conversation this year. And I think so far I haven't heard anything. But, I mean, there's such big Ravens hype on him just because of how well he played last year. It's a whole new season. A lot's changed since 2019. And I think everybody can agree on that. And I mean, you're not guaranteed to play the same way you were last year. I'm going Lamar, just from my standpoint.
Man, that's a good one.
You know what we need to do in this show? We need to write down hot takes. And keep up the hot takes.
Drop that right there. Hot take. Lamar Jackson. I don't want no MVP talk. No, nothing. I want that thrown out the window. Until I can see it replicated, I don't want to hear it.
I like that.
Oh, so right here overrated. Jadeveon Clowney, y'all understand why you picked him. But for me, he's not overrated because I didn't expect much. I haven't expected much out of Jadeveon Clowney for a while now. Ever since he left the Texans to go to Seattle, he hasn't really done much. And really, I wasn't high on him coming out of the draft. I know I was one of the rare ones. After he made that big hit against Michigan, he was done. That was his sophomore year. That next year, following year, he didn't do anything. And he sat out a whole bunch of games. And then he came in. He really never made the impact in the NFL like I thought he would. He really never had a double-digit sack season. So, to me, he's more of a run stopper than a pass rush. So, when the Titans got him and when he was asking for $20 million, I knew he was crazy. I knew he was crazy for asking for that amount of money. But, Lamar Jackson was, definitely an interesting one. I'm not going to go there as of yet. But I'm going with the guy who just played his second game last night. I'm going with Michael Thomas. The reason why I'm going Michael Thomas is the overrated one is because, they haven't played, he haven't played since week 1. The Saints did win that game. However, if you look at their record, they're still 4-2 without him. They still have a competent offense without him. Don't get me wrong. He's gonna draw coverages. I'm not saying he's not a good receiver. However, they pay him $100 million, and that's a whole bunch of money for a guy really that you're asking really that's going to run mainly 3 routes. You ask he's going to run a slant, he's going to run a dig.
Ooh,
And he's not he's not going to really, I mean, he can stretch the field a little bit, but you're not asking him to do that a lot. I just for an underneath guy like that, I know he make a lot of catches. I get it. I get the number and the production is there, but for $100 million, I don't think you necessarily need a Michael Thomas to win. I mean, I really don't. I think you can think, a solid wide receiver there. We've seen what Drew Brees, Drew Brees made Marcus Holston look good, a 7th round pick from Hofstra. So, just to pay a guy $100 million, I think you can replicate that with somebody else. So I give that Michael Thomas. That's why he's overrated for me.
All right, Chris.
I agree with you with that. He doesn't run a lot of routes. You're looking at D-Hop, who can run every route, Devontae Adams, Julio, those guys can do it all. But, just to play devil's advocate, we all know what he's going to run. The defense knows what he's going to run, and yet they still can't stop it. So that's why I can't, go there with him. I understand why you say it. And yes, when you have great offenses, they're going to be able to still do their thing without him. So I do think, but he's just a whole different dynamic for me. And like I said, everybody knows what he's going to do, yet nobody's been able to stop him, so I can't go there yet. But listen, we got hot takes, and that was a hot take right there. It was a missile.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Freddie, what's yours? Please don't say if this is Carson Wentz, just move on. Please just move on. Because that's so disrespectful. You talk about disrespect.
Back up for
you talking about disrespect, bro.
It's
That's
not,
so disrespectful.
Chris,
when has a quarterback his entire offense been taken away from him?
Sure.
When has that ever happened?
It's not even about just this year, Chris. I mean, I used to be a huge supporter of Carson Wentz, but this dude is who he is. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. A great Maya Angelou used to say.
Okay, so let's look at what he showed you.
In the last couple of years, when it comes to postseasons, he's never available.
Okay, please stop right there. Stop right there. You acting like somebody tapped him and said, "Oh, you're down. Oh, you're down." Let's really talk about these injuries. Somebody, Freddie, I don't know if you ever played football, but let me tell you something. When somebody goes head first into your knees, something bad is going to happen. I seen it firsthand. When a helmet hits you in the knee, I seen it firsthand. A guy ACL, MCL be taken away from him. Yeah, Carson Wentz still got no. Don't shake your head because you want to talk about he's not available. Let's talk about these injuries. A guy went head first into his knee and tore his ACL. Then you look at the playoffs against the Seahawks last year when Jadeveon Clowney put that 280-pound, 6'5" body, full speed, head first into Carson Wentz's helmet. Please don't act like these are just tap injuries. You talking about 2 injuries in the beginning of his career. Don't act like we never seen a quarterback that got injured in the beginning of his career and came back to have a great career. So let's just move on because I don't feel like going debating you about this. I don't want to hear it.
I will say this. If he did not get it turned around by next year, do not be surprised if that rookie quarterback will be starting in Philadelphia.
Why would he be starting? Why? I don't understand.
Because Philadelphia want winners, man. That's what they want. They want winners.
Yeah. But also, you got to remember how bad. And I'm a Philadelphia fan. You see I love Philadelphia, but a lot of people are just so delusional like you. They don't actually watch the game. They just look at the stats and they realize he's working with nothing. So let's just move on.
I mean,
Freddie, let's move on.
I have one question for you. Y'all barely squeezed by the leading Cowboy team as well, Chris.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Carson Wentz looked awful.
That's true. And I'm still not going to put Jalen Hurts on the field. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm still not putting Hurts on the field. Carson Wentz has to become injured for me to put Hurts on the field. He can throw 3 interceptions. I'm not putting Hurts on the field. It's Wentz's team, and he's going to ride it out. You act like you never seen a quarterback had a bad season before. You act like this is the first time ever. Let's move on.
I like Chris. I've never been that dedicated to a quarterback on my team. That's all. I like that. Chris, I like you. You're all right.
My God.
All right. Let's get into the most underrated player in the NFL. And I had a picture of Russell Wilson on there just because that He's never had a MVP vote in his career, which I think is crazy. Because to me, when you say Rodgers, you say Brady, I think you have to put. When you say Breeze, I think Wilson still has to be in that conversation, even though he only have one championship. I still think the skills wise that he needs to be in that conversation. Coach Cam, who's your most underrated player?
All right, and we're talking about this year, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Talking about this year, I'm going full blown homer.
Say it.
Full-blown
Say
homer.
it. Say it.
Most overrated player in the NFL right now is Jesse Bates III, the safety.
Yes.
For us, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
Right now, he's the Pro Football Focus highest graded safety in the NFL. When teams target him, the passer rating is 15.2. It's the lowest in the league by far. The next person is second with 45.2. He's a ball hawk. You talk about pass breakups. You talk about stopping in the run game, hard hit over the middle. Like he's finally playing that the safety that we expect him to be. And honestly, the only person I will consider, right now in the same breath as him is Budda Baker. Them two right now are playing like all pro safeties. And I understand, outside of Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals don't get a lot of media hype. But Jesse Bates is one of the best safeties in the league by far, and I think the league needs to recognize it. And he's one of the most underrated players in the NFL right now.
Speak on it.
All right, Will.
I'm gonna go. I feel like I kind of hit some nerves on the most overrated, and I feel like I'm gonna hit some nerves a little bit on the most underrated. Have we forgotten about Todd Gurley? I mean, have we forgotten about that man out there in Atlanta? I mean, he's not with the Rams anymore. He's not with McVay. But this move to Atlanta has brought him right back to a top running back in the league. I mean, he's fifth. He's currently fifth in the NFL in rushing yards, second only behind Dalvin Cook in rushing touchdowns. The man's having a career resurgence, and he's on a team that is losing a lot, and he's still doing that as a running back. I mean, to be top 5 in rushing yards, top 2 in the league in rushing touchdowns on a losing team, I mean, that should let you know that guy, you pass the ball when you're losing, most of the time at least, and they're still giving this man the rock, and he's still putting up psycho numbers. I have to go with Todd Gurley. I feel like I haven't heard any conversation about him being up there in the top running backs. I hear you hear a lot about Christian McCaffrey. You hear Alvin Kamara's name. You even hear Saquon Barkley, and he hasn't touched the field since week 2. But you have to put Todd Gurley up there. I mean, the stats are there to prove it. I mean, Dalvin Cook's been out of his mind. Derrick Henry's been out of his mind. But you have to put Todd Gurley up there in the conversation at least this year. If you're talking about this year, he's already – I want to say he's increased his average yards per game. I want to say by almost a yard per carry. I mean, he is up there, and he is playing very well out there in Atlanta. And so since he's back to his old days, I'm going TG3 out there in Atlanta.
All right, Chris.
Both great points. Both great points. Like Coach Cam, I'm on the defensive side. And like Coach Cam, I have to be Homer. My guy, Brandon Graham, right now, everybody wants to talk about, Aaron Donald, respectfully. Everybody wants to talk about Myles Garrett, respectfully. Everybody wants to talk about TJ Watt, respectfully. But my guy, Brandon Graham, has 7 sacks this year. He has 11 tackle for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 11 QB hits. You talking about a guy that's consistent every game in pass rush. He's bringing it to you. He's by far, our best pass rusher this year. You look at the Eagles and their defensive line, that's supposed to be their best positional group. And you can argue he's really the only one that's been consistent and stepping up, both in run stopping and pass rushing. Also, can we give him some credit for being in the top 5 when it comes to sacks? I named all these guys that you hear all the time, and respectfully, they deserve it. But Brandon Graham is the guy that he's going to come after you, and he's going to get after the quarterback every single game. I feel like this year he's being overlooked, which I'm not surprised because that's what happens when you play for a Philadelphia team. But this is a guy, like I said, I can throw the stats all out there, and it compares to all these top guys. He's doing his thing this year, and I feel like he just deserves a little bit more credit than he's getting.
All right. Well, Chris, Coach Cam, Will, that's all we have for football. Let's head into the NBA. Chris, before we get to the NBA, let's remind the viewers how they can get this T-shirt, man.
Listen, I see you guys in the comments. Nathaniel, I'm not bringing up your comments because what you're saying is giving me a migraine. I'm just thank you for the game updates. But if you want to win a T-shirt, comment on the video. Comment on our page, share the video, like the page, like the video. We're going to tally up at the end of the month. Whoever does it the most is going to get a free T-shirt. You're going to be the viewer of the month selection.
All right.
If you want a T-shirt, if you don't want to comment or you just hear and you liking what you see and you just like the shirt and you want to get one, message us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The shirts are $25 per shipping and handling. You're going to get a nice ASAP T-shirt ASAP.
All right, let's roll into it. Who is your top 5 centers in today's game? I already know number one for Chris. I mean, he's my number one as well.
Full blown homer. Nah, I'm just
but I bring the stats behind everything.
I know. I got you.
So let's go ahead and start with Coach Cam, man. Then we'll go with Chris.
We'll start with me, huh? All right. I'm gonna start from the bottom, work my way up top, and I know some people, consider certain people 5s, and you can 4 or 5 is kind of interchangeable with some guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going with pure centers. When you think of center, that's who I'm going with. And at number 5, it may shock you a little bit, but I'm going Andre Drummond. I like what Andre Drummond brings to the table. You talk about a walking double-double, and it's not no small 10 and 10 double-double. You're talking about 15 points, 22 rebounds type. When he's motivated and don't want to play. Unfortunately in Detroit, him and Blake Griffin, obviously that wasn't going to work. There in Detroit, that was just a bad combination. And honestly, with Cleveland, John Beilein, had lost the locker room for a minute there. And now they got, a solid coaching Bickerstaff. So, I think he's primed to have a big season, as well in the last year of his deal. I like what, Andre Drummond, brings to the table. At 4, I really don't care for him like that, but you got to put him up there as Rudy Gobert. You know what I mean? You talk about multi-defensive player of the year. Someone that can protect the rim. Honestly, does what you need from a modern day big man, far as just rim protecting, catching lobs, being able to finish, and rebound well. So I got Rudy Gobert at 4. Offense is a little bit of a liability, but you can't dump it to him or anything like that. But he's a great defender and someone that you would like to anchor the paint. At number 3, I have Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns, a walking 25 and 12. Like I said, it's nothing about his skill set that I challenge at all. I just challenge him to be a better leader. I challenge him to, try to will his team to, to get victories. But however, the numbers speak for itself, and he could be very motivated on the defensive end when he wants to be. But the skill set speaks for itself. He can step out, shoot the 3. He can, play back to the basket, face to the basket, mid-range game. Can rebound. I like Karl Anthony Towns at 3. At 2, I got Joel Embiid at 2. As the second best center in the league. It's nothing about talent-wise with Joel Embiid. Not at all. It's just that I just can't have nights where I look up and he has 9 points, or I look up and he has nights where he has 4 points and things like that. I just can't have that out of Joel Embiid. I mean, I'm not saying it's every night or anything like that, but there is nights where he has that. And for me, I just think he played too much. I understand he likes to have fun, be silly, and all that kind of stuff, and that's how he gets into it. But it reminds me of Dwight Howard in the sense of how he played too much. I don't want my big man out there playing, dancing around, and doing all that. I need you to be a dog out there. I need you to be dunking on people, staring them down. That's how I want my center. You know what I mean? Or That's how I want it, especially the type of game that Joel Embiid can bring. So I think for me, for Joel Embiid, it's just that I want it every night from him, and I just don't see the motor every night from Joel Embiid. I don't. And number 1 for me, the best big man, the best center in the league for me, is Nikola Jokic. I think Nikola Jokic is the best big man in the league. I like his skill set more than anybody's. He's a 20, 10, and 7 type guy. And when the lights shine the brightest, I know everybody gonna say Jamal Murray this, Jamal Murray that, but you look in those game sevens. You know what I mean? It was Nikola Jokic that brought that thing home. You talk about in the series against the Clippers, Game 7, he had a triple double, 16 points, 22 rebounds, 13 assists in a closeout game. That's absolutely amazing. And then you go to Utah, almost pulled out the same thing in the Game 7. You know what I mean? So I like Nikola Jokic, and until Embiid can get past the second round without Jimmy Butler, then I need to see more. That's my top 5.
Oh man, a nerd has been struck. It is ready to explode. Oh, Chris,
I feel like I should back up.
Chris, I think it's only appropriate.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and go ahead.
Listen,
we might as well forget the rest of the list and just go to one.
I'm not even going to lie. Coach Cam didn't say a lot that was necessarily wrong. Yes, we need to see Joel Embiid make a deep playoff run. I mean, you look at this year, though, his number 2 was injured. If Jamal Murray was injured, do you see Nikola Jokic making that run? I'm just saying. Joel Embiid needs to stop playing around more, be more serious. I agree with that. Whoa. Okay, we're going to forget that. But listen, one thing that I didn't necessarily like was Coach Cam said, well, you don't want to see Joel Embiid have 9 points, 10 points, 11 points. Let's not forget. Let's take, outside of this playoff run, Nikola Jokic was the king for that, scoring 8 points, scoring 6 points, not taking enough shots. I mean, up until this playoff run, he was necessarily known for having a great game one game and an average game the next. That's just my point. But let's get into this list. And you left somebody off your list that I'm very disappointed in you doing in this. At number 5, I have Rudy Gobert. Like Coach Cam said, he's an anchor on the defensive end. He's a liability on offense, but I mean, you look at a lot of guys that are defensive first, like a Steven Adams. He doesn't want to at least attempt a shot. At least Rudy Gobert is going to attempt to put something up, attempt to post move. Rudy Gobert is doing this thing on defense. He's a block champion. He's going to hold down the paint. He's going to give you 15 plus rebounds. He's going to dive to the paint and catch lobs. Number 4 is what I'm surprised he didn't have on his list. The best defensive center. I know I said Rudy Gobert, all those things, but the best defensive center in the game, Bam Adebayo. This guy averaged 16-5 this year. To me, this guy is the heart and soul of this Miami team. This is a guy, why I say he's the best defender, because not only can he hold down the paint, but if you have a switch on the pick and roll, he goes against the shooting guard, the small forward. I'm confident in him. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to lock him up, but he's going to do his job. You put Rudy Gobert on the guard, he's going to get cooked every time. You put Bam on the guard, sometimes they want him guarding the guard because he's just that great on the defensive end. So for me, Bam is number 4. For 3, I have Karl-Anthony Towns. It has nothing to do with skill. He's just third on this list. He's the best shooting big man in the game right now. It's not even close. Shooting a 3-point rate at 41.2% last year. He's a beast. Karl-Anthony Towns, I've been a fan of him since Kentucky. He's doing this thing. Hopefully he gets, some more talent over there with Minnesota so he can really show people why he's so dominant like that, because Karl-Anthony Towns really is dominant. He picks and chooses when he wants to dominate on the defensive end, but he has that capability. And to me, Karl-Anthony Towns is really that guy. Number 2, I have Nikola Jokic, only because, it has nothing to do with skill, but it's because of my number 1, the best big man in the game. The most dominant big man in the game. The big man that can do everything. Nikola Jokic is the offensive center. Karl-Anthony Towns is here and there. Bam Adebayo is not as dominant on offense. Rudy Gobert is not a dominant offensive player. The most dominant center in the game is my guy, Joel, trust the process, Embiid. I mean, you look at not last year, but the year before last, he averaged 27. Why? Because he had to paint to himself. This year, they brought in Al Horford, so his game kind of stepped back because he didn't get the ball where he needs to get the ball. Let's not forget how dominant Joel Embiid is. Let's not forget he dominated the Celtics by himself. You see that banner right there? Joel Embiid going to sign that for me when they win a championship next year, because Joel Embiid is a dog. I threw that out there just to see your reactions.
When you do what?
Shut up, Freddie. I threw that out there just to see our reactions. My point being is that Joel Embiid, there's a lot of questions about him, but it's a lot of questions about everybody else. If you ask me what center am I going to take, that's going to do everything in the NBA, scoring a post, mid-range 3-point line, and play defense and dominate. Joel Embiid is the easy answer. If it's not him, then it'd been a DeMarcus Cousins, but he's not playing no more. Joel Embiid's that guy.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget about Nikola Vucevic neither, because he can ball as well.
He can definitely ball, but I'm taking those other guys above him though. He can definitely ball.
Hey, he's down there in Orlando.
He's top. He'd probably be 6 on that list, honestly.
Giving you 20 and 10. All right, Will.
No, I don't. Before I say my top 5, I don't want to forget about Bam Adebayo either. I mean, the man putting up some solid points. One of the top big men in the league whenever it comes to rebound, and still averaging almost 3 blocks a game. I mean, whenever it comes to it, both sides of the ball. I mean, you're looking at a very well-rounded center and a very well-rounded big man. I think he deserves a little bit of praise up there on that too. But whenever I look at it, number 5, I'm going to go with Chris on this one. I'm going Bam Adebayo as well. I love the way Bam plays. Whenever another one of those players that's really complete, can dominate down low, obviously he's going to win the battle at the glass. Lockdown defender. I really like Bam Adebayo. Number 4, I'm going with Rudy Gobert. Obviously, the defense speaks for itself. Multiple defensive player of the year, as mentioned by Coach Cam. Very well whenever it comes to the battle at the glass, and obviously that's what you're looking for from a big man, but obviously can also get you the points that you need whenever it's needed. Number 3, going to Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's just a little bit more complete whenever it comes to it, just a step above Rudy Gobert, especially when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. I think he's a more consistent finisher, a more consistent shooter. If you need offensive side, you're looking more towards Cat than you'd be looking at Rudy. And then obviously the 1 and 2 comes down to Jokic and Embiid. I'm joining Cam on this side. Feel free to throw Chris back up on the screen. I'm putting Embiid at 2. Again, similar to what Cam said, I mean, the consistency whenever it comes to the scoring, you know what you're going to get defensively. You know that you can run the offense through him if need be, because we've seen it happen whenever somebody such as Ben Simmons goes down. But the scoring consistency raises a little bit of a question. Yes, he can make it happen at will whenever need be, but there are still those games whenever you wonder. And then number 1, you got to go Nikola Jokic. I think whenever it comes down to it, I think it's the most complete big man in the league. I don't think anybody does it better on both sides of the ball. And because of that, I got to go with the big man in Denver as my number 1. Chris, don't hurt me.
All right, Chris. Not Chris. Coach Cam, real quick.
Okay, and the reason why I don't have Bam yet, like I said, I at 5 I threw in Andre Drummond because, like I said, he's been doing this for years, man, and it's been like kind of just swept under the rug because he played for Detroit, he played for some bad Pistons teams, but it's something to be said to where like he's probably been the best rebounder almost for almost a decade. So, but the reason why also about Nikola Jokic, man. If he's not necessarily scoring a bucket, he can impact, the game in other ways, especially with his facilitating and getting other people involved. I just seen, if Joel Embiid is not in it offensively, the rest of his game dip. His game goes where if he's getting buckets, he's blocking shots, he's pounding his chest, he got the, get the ear on up to the crowd. He's turned up then. He's turned up when he gets them buckets, but when he's struggling on offense, everything else starts to kind of suffer with it. And I've seen that happen with Joel Embiid. That's the reason why he's 2 for me. Hey, it's all good, Chris. It's all good. But Joel Embiid is not the best center in the NBA, buddy. It's Nikola Jokic. He's number 15 in Denver.
I mean, people just act like they never seen Nikola Jokic have a bad game before. I don't have a rebuttal. That's the only thing I have to say. That's all.
All right, let's keep moving on, you guys. We're talking about a team that was forming to be a dynasty.
No, they were no. Say it right. They were and they are a dynasty, not forming to be. They are a dynasty. Please say that right.
I'm not gonna say they are a dynasty until
they won 3 out of 5. They're a dynasty.
You're not a dynasty, like Shaq said.
They won 3 out of 5. They were the best team in the league.
Before we go on, if you want to talk about 3 out of 5, I'm not sure how much of a baseball fan you are, but would you consider like the early 2010s San Francisco Giants to be a dynasty? I mean, that team that team right now is bottom scrapers of the MLB. I mean, it's just 5 years later. I mean, yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. 3 out of 5 is a great feat, but I don't know. I don't know if people look at that team the same way. And
the thing is, we didn't get into the question. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is about that though is the Giants were a little different just because they would win the World Series, not make the playoffs the next. Win the World Series, not make the playoffs the next. Then win the World Series. These guys made it to 5 straight finals appearances. And they was there year in and year out and won 3 out of 5 of those. That's a dynasty, man. When you go to the finals every year.
Coach, all in history, all dynasty have done. They won 3-peats. They 3-peated.
No, because the Miami Heat are considered a dynasty and they only won 2. And the Lakers, they won a 3-peat. But rest in peace to Kobe. Shaq and Kobe were together for a long time before they made the finals. They got there. They went to the finals. You're the only person in the world that doesn't consider this team a dynasty. Let's go into the question. I'm not even going to go off on you.
I was going to say, what's the question, by the way?
Thoughts on reports of Anthony Edwards to Golden State Warriors, Coach Cam?
I would like a different fit for them. Anthony Edwards is a bucket getter, so he could definitely come off the bench for them, whether it's to replace Clay, Wiggins, and get instant buckets for them and be that youth kind of energizer bunny off the bench that can give you buckets. But I would love if Minnesota, I love the dog Minnesota Timberwolves, and if they're idiots, like I'm hearing possible reports of them trying to pick Wiseman and they have Karl Anthony Towns, which will be the dumbest thing ever, then I would love for the Warriors to get LaMelo Ball instead of Anthony Edwards in this case. I just can't imagine with them. That's a scary small ball lineup. If you throw Lonzo out there with Steph, Clay, Draymond, that's and Wiggins, that's a scary small ball lineup. Because you gotta think LaMelo is 6'8" himself. So he's not like he's short. He's long and rangy, and then you got Wiggins 6'8", long and rangy. Clay can defend multiple positions. Then you have Steph out there. You talk about a team that could possibly switch multiple positions on the perimeter defensively and get buckets. In that case, the Anthony Edwards would be a solid fit, but it wouldn't be the best fit. If Wiseman's not on the board there, I would love LaMelo Ball to go to Golden State, man, and learn from Steph and them boys and play in that system. It would be great to see.
All right, Will, you want to touch on it?
Yeah, I'm a lot with Coach Cam here. Whenever he mentions some names on Golden State, you mentioned Steph, Clay, talking about Wiggins as well. You mentioned Draymond, but you don't really have that big guy. I mean, Draymond's short, but, you've seen some statistical fluctuation between, some past years and recently. So why not go out and go get a big man to try to make it more complete instead of somebody like Anthony Edwards? I mean, you have your backcourt. You have your backcourt set. I mean, they're not going anywhere. You know exactly who's going to be out there. Why not go try to find somebody for the front court, somebody who's going to lock it down defensively, some guy that you can get down there by the glass? I think Wiseman would be crazy. If Minnesota does not take him, which, again, as Coach Camp said, that would be really stupid. But if he's still on the board at 2, I mean, I don't see how they don't take Wiseman. I mean, I think that would make that Warriors team just as scary as they've ever been, maybe even scarier, especially if he can play to the efficiency that he had in college ball. I think if he transforms well to the NBA, to add a big man to that lineup will be terrifying.
Chris?
Yeah, I think we all can agree that Minnesota would be dumb to draft Wiseman, but let's just play along. Wiseman goes number 1. And the Warriors draft Anthony Edwards. And let me tell you why. And I agree with Coach Cam. I think LaMelo would be a better fit. But if they do that, I would still love Anthony Edwards on that team. Why? Because there are a lot of afraid centers that have, shown that they can do things in the game. Coach Cam had Andre Drummond in his top 5. Go pick up Andre Drummond. You talking about he's finally on the team where I think his skill set is really going to be put on display, and then he has a chance to win a championship. You look at Serge Ibaka that is known for defense. He also cuts the floor out. who's not going to be that much of an asking price, and he's showing you can get it done in the playoffs. You got a Tristan Thompson, you got a Hassan Whiteside, you got some guys out there that you can get on a good deal for a center position, and you go get an Anthony Edwards that's going to be that 6 man off the bench like James Harden, that 6 man off the bench that night in after night out can get you buckets. You don't have to play Steph and Clay that much. One, they're a little older and they're coming off injuries. Anthony Edwards can be that young guy for you coming in and just scorching teams off the bench. He can create offense, and also if you want to go small ball, you can still put him on there. He's a guy that I think his defensive potential might be a little bit better than LaMelo's, but offensive potential, I'm giving it to LaMelo, but he's not that far off. He's a guy that can get his bucket on whoever. He's a guy that is a capable passer. I think Anthony Edwards is a beast. And so if they draft him, I'm going to applaud that pick as long as they go out and find a center. If they're trying to start him, then that's idiotic. But if they go out and start a center and have him off the bench, I think that's nasty moving for the future. I think that is nasty.
All righty, let's get into our last topic for the night. I want to start this one off. We're talking about the most historic team in NBA history. Can LeBron ever be called an all-time Laker? I mean, first of all, people, look at that picture. Isn't that just greatness in one picture? You have Kareem at the bottom, Magic at the top left, Shaq, Kobe, and you have LeBron. Woo, man, greatness. But the question is, can LeBron James be considered an all-time Laker? He have to win at least 3 to 4 championships to be on that list. He has to win championships. Lakers, we don't care. Laker fans, we don't care about the points. We don't care about stats. We don't care about none of that. We're not Philadelphia. That don't make us happy.
That don't make us happy either. You act like we never won a championship. Like you taking shots at the wrong one. No. You're taking shots at the wrong one. If you're not winning, we don't like you. So direct that comment to somebody else, Mr. Delusional.
Hey, I'm just saying we care about championships, but that's all that we care about. So for him to be a part of our all-time list, he has to win at least 3 to 4 championships. Coach Campbell, I see you disagree with this, so go ahead and go.
I mean, 3 to 4 championships, that's a lot, man. You're asking, LeBron at 35, who just got one, to win 2 more, maybe 3 more. That's tough to do. I think he just needs to win 1 more to be considered an all-time Lakers great. And here's why. Just because he came at a time where the Lakers were struggling. The Lakers were struggling. You talk about 10 straight years of being, subpar basketball. And that's not like the Lakers going almost a decade, struggling like that. And the fact that he came there, and was able to, get a ring within a couple years, that kind of helps his legacy, with the Lakers fans. And if he gets 1 more, that'll put him at, 5 total and a total of 2. I mean, heck, I know Jerry West was a lifer, but he's only won 1. You know what I mean? You got some of these guys that, never really won, like Elgin Baylor, who's supposed to be a Lakers great, all these type of players, they didn't win. And if you get, LeBron James with a 2nd title, at this stage of his career, and, that'll be great for him. And I think he'll be considered one of the Lakers great. I'm not saying he'll be a top 3 Laker of all time, but you talk about, a top 10 Laker, possibly a top 5 Laker, they'll possibly put him in just because of his stature in the game. He definitely, has a chance to be. I think he just needs to win 1 more.
Yeah, Coach Cam. You said Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, but those guys played majority of their career with the Lakers. You got to remember that. So,
I said they was lifers. I said they was lifers.
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
And you said it's all about championships.
I know. Yeah, I know. And then you have to remember, if you remember the year Elgin Baylor retired, they ended up winning the championship. So Elgin Baylor was a bad boy. But if LeBron
said it's all about championships, Freddie, and if LeBron has more, then
Chris, it's all about championships. LeBron cannot just come in and say, "Oh, I won 1 championship. I'm an all-time Laker." No, that's not how it works.
You need to win 1 more. That'd be 2.
You need to win 2 to 3 more. So he finished at least 3 or 4 with the Lakers. All right, Chris.
I mean, you just make no sense. You say it's all about championship. Yeah, he's going to have more. If he wins one more exactly, he have more championships than these guys we're calling all-time Lakers, which they are. But your point just makes no sense. But but it's the truth though. But you're saying it's so wrong. To me, if he goes back to back, we talking about a time where the Lakers were at the bottom of the league for years. He comes there the first year, they still had a bad team, and they were a top 5 seed in the West before he got injured. If he goes back to back, you talking about it's all about winning. He goes back to back, plays a couple more years, top 10 Laker of all time. If he wins 3, he's itching towards that top 7, 8-ish. If he wins 3 championships with the Lakers, not saying a 3-peat, but if he just somehow wins, because we don't know how long he's going to play, and I think he'll play for a while. If he somehow wins 3, he's definitely a top 6, 7, maybe 5 all-time Laker. And God, man, damn it, if he wins 4, you can't tell me he's not in the top 5. Not saying that's how much he's going to win, but I'm saying if he wins 4, he's a top 5 Laker of all time. You're making that face. If he wins 4 with the Lakers, he's not a top 5 Laker.
So are you taking Shaq off?
I'm not taking it. I'm just saying he's a top 5 Laker. If he wins,
you got to take somebody off that list, Chris.
I don't have 4.
Yeah, if he wins 4, he's not a top 5 Laker.
If he wins 4, he probably like the 4th best Laker of all time. If he wins 4,
now. You said it's all about rings. You said it's all about rings.
Outside of Magic, Kobe, and Kareem. Who else?
Exactly. He's 4th on that list.
You
say it's all about ring. This is why I call you delusional. You say it's all about rings. He has more rings at 4 than Shaq, than Wilt, than Jerry West. He's up, he has 1 less than James Worthy, but we all know we're taking LeBron over James Worthy. No disrespect. Freddie, you just make no sense. But the point being is that if he wants to be considered an all-time Laker, he has to. 1 is not enough. To me, to be in a conversation, not the greatest, but all-time great, 1 more is demanded. If he wants to be solidified as all-time great, he has to win 3. And though I think that's out of the possibility, no. I think with the given fact how durable he is, how much he takes care of his body, how much his game will allow him to play, how Jason Kidd did at the end where he could just be a true playmaker, he might be able to squeeze out 3 total championships for the Lakers. If he does that, 1, he's going to stamp all the GOAT, but we're not going to get it today. He's going to stamp the GOAT, and he's going to stamp being all-time Laker.
He already did that, Chris. And
he definitely did.
Will, did you hear me say, Chris, you're right? I said it 3 times, and he kept talking. Will, go ahead and answer the question, my friend.
Freddie, you're a Lakers fan, am I correct?
Die hard.
It makes me sick to my stomach that we are talking about a man being an all-time great on the most historic NBA team in the NBA 2 seasons into his tenure with the team. I mean, yeah, he came into a struggling Lakers team, and after a season, he really turned it around. But literally the best players, at least some of the best players in the NBA, regardless of 23, have played on the Lakers. As you already mentioned, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Kareem, Wilt, Jerry West. I mean, these are all Shaq. I mean, these are all players who have played serious time with the Lakers and have done very well. He's in his 2nd year, going into his 3rd. I don't know where I can put him up there right now. I mean, this is a team that has so much history behind it. So many players that have come in and out of the Lakers organization that have done so much more than LeBron has at this moment. So at this moment, I'm saying no. Similar with Cam and Chris, I mean, it's going to take more. It's going to take more than that. The fact that he says he wants to be out there, then by all means, I'm glad he wants to be up there, but he's just not there yet. I mean, I don't see how somebody can come in unless you're a brand new organization, be in your 2nd year and somehow become an all-time great, especially with a team like the Lakers. I mean,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Will, I understand that. I understand what you're saying, but man, you got to realize one thing. Like I said, Laker fans only care about one thing. And if you bring a championship to the city, we're good. You see how this city would at first accepted LeBron coming in there. Hey, they wasn't all for it. They didn't care about the big name. They didn't care about that. The only thing they cared about was them winning. And when they won that championship, you seen the city love them. They respect them. And when we have a parade, whenever that time is, but we can go out there and party and celebrate. We're going to wrap our arms around LeBron and we're going to love him. And if he win more championships, then we have to give him the respect that he deserves.
I got something to say. You know, Shaq is my favorite person of all time. We share the same birthday. When Shaq won that first championship, was he not already being in the conversation of being a great Laker? Now Shaq had some more years with the Lakers, but after that one, he wasn't in that conversation.
No, he had to do more. He wasn't talked about as like one of the best Lakers as of yet. Like,
and they said he had to do more, right?
Yeah, he had to do more.
That's how I feel about LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron is piquing interest. He's piquing interest, and you know they went. And to anybody say, well, he played on two different organizations, you know, Shaq, he's going to forever be known as a Laker, but he's also going to be known as somebody that played with the Orlando Magic. That's where he started his dominance. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is going to be looked at as a Laker. Won his first championship with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yep.
Wilt Chamberlain. So, I mean, I don't want to hear nobody say, well, now, to me, the two greatest Lakers are the ones that stayed there their entire career, and applaud to them. But like Freddie said, people come to LA to win. If LeBron wins 2, 3, 4, hopefully not 4 because I want my Sixers to win. But I'm saying if he wins 3 to 4 championships, I would never say he's over Kobe. I would never say he's over Magic. But damn.
Yeah.
Could you say Kareem? I don't know. That's the question that we ask.
Only way somebody can outdo Kobe in my eyes, and that's going to be
hold on. Nobody will ever outdo Kobe unless they won 10 championships.
No. Hey, take that off the screen, man. I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. I'm saying the only way that they can outdo Kobe is they got to play like 20 plus years and give you 7 to 8 championships. Like they got to be something crazy like that. Like this dude,
they have to win 10.
Blood, sweat, heart, tears to that city, man. To me, and I know we're not gonna make this another debate. To me, people put Magic as the greatest Laker of all time, and I respect Magic. I like Magic Johnson. Kobe Bean Bryant is the greatest Laker of all time in my eyes. But all I had to say is Magic had to retire early, and Magic won 5 in that short period of time. Yeah, I understand that, but you're right. Kobe's the guy. Kobe's that guy. But damn, don't just say it just Magic. No, don't forget what Magic was to this game. Like, I'm just saying. Listen, we all understand. I'm just saying, don't just say. But no, you gotta respect what Magic did for basketball. He took it to a whole other level. I mean. If Magic playing right now, he'd be a 5. You talking about everybody talking about Patrick Mahomes' money? That's how much Magic will be getting paid in this NBA right now. It wouldn't even be close. All right, guys. Well, man, it looked like another wonderful show. Real talk. Had Will on his first show. Man, you did awesome. Coach Cam dropping the knowledge. I don't know about that top 5 center list though, but it's legit. It's legit. Hold on, Freddie. What's your top 5 center list? I agree with you, Chris. I mean, hey, smart. Listen, because we know you didn't have. We know you like to copy my notes, so we understand you agree. Listen. This is why this comment was said. The brains is me, not you.
The thing is, a lot of people had Bam Adebayo.
Yes.
I understand he was a little nicked up.
Yes.
But in the finals, man, he missed about 15 layups in 6 games. I watching that, I'm like,
his offensive game, birdies. His offensive game isn't there yet, and I agree with you there. His offensive game, and Drummond's game is taking a step forward. It's not the best, but he's taking a step forward, and I do believe that's the only thing he needs to work on for a center. His finishing around the basket is suspect. Yeah. I like to see he's adding that pull-up mid-range, but to me, you're a center. At the end of the day, you're going to get those drop-offs. You're not going to, you can't miss those wide-open dunks. You can't miss those layups. So I understand that point. But if you ask me who I'm starting a franchise with, I got to take a guy that can do multiple things in that basketball court. That's how I look at it. All respect to Andre Drummond, though. Hey, Brandon, just message me or Chris. Hey, man, we'll get you on. We'll get you on. We'll make sure to talk about how bad your quarterback is. We'll do it. How bad your organizations are. We'll do it. And he understands. He's not like Freddie, a delusional guy. He understands how Freddie end off the show before after the embarrassment.
If anybody wants to sit here and debate whose offense is worse, I would love as a Bears fan to go up against anybody.
So are you a Bulls fan? Are you a Bulls fan as well?
No, I am not.
So what's your basketball team?
I don't typically affiliate with a basketball team.
But that's the perfect answer. That's the perfect answer. So when I talk about my Sixers, just support me, Will. Be my guy, because they kill me on here.
I don't know if I can do that yet.
Oh, my God.
We'll see. I'm just hoping I have a fan club like you. People come in the comments and talking about how great you are. This is my first episode. You know?
No, Freddie, we don't want to see it. Are we getting jerseys, Freddie? Are we getting jerseys? Okay, I'll be right back.
You would look so good in a purple and gold.
I would look.
Oh my God!
Who's your team?
My NBA team is the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, all right. So I have to pick one that is. I promise to affiliate with a team that is none of those three here soon, just to make things interesting.
You look so good in this. But before Chris come back, I think we might need to end the show because he's bringing some kind of jersey out the back, and we don't want to burn the viewers' eyes. So let's end the show. Oh man!
Oh, got some. They got AI love.
No, hey, that go with my red hair. Let's look into that.
Oh, got Embiid.
There we go.
You want something that won championships. You want championships.
I want AI over everybody, whoever you just said. Don't ever disrespect the legend, Allen Iverson. He's right there on my wall there.
I would love for people to try to write into me as to why I should join your fandom on your NBA. I tell you what, this is my first episode here. I know you guys got a pretty serious following. Somebody try to convince me to join your team. We'll figure something out.
Well, you guys, unfortunately, our time has run out. All our viewers today, man, we thank you for watching the show. We ask that you comment on the show, like this video, share it, follow the page, like the video. Hey, man, if you run a sports network, you know how hard it is to get followers, man. As of right now, we're 2 followers away from getting 400. That's a huge accomplishment. So shout out, hey Chris, man, just tell them one more time how to get this T-shirt.
Listen, I see all you guys in the comments. Just know we see you, and I appreciate you. I do, really. You're helping us out. I'm glad to see everybody's liking the show. Keep commenting, keep liking the page, liking the video, sharing the page, sharing the video. We're going to tally that up at the end of the month. And whoever, has the most, whoever's leading in all categories is going to be the viewer of the month and able to win such a beautiful T-shirt. And if you want to buy a T-shirt, just message us on here, message us on Facebook, message us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. $25 plus shipping and handling. You're going to get an ASAP T-shirt ASAP.
I tell you what, no matter what your NBA team is, you may look good in red, yellow, whatever it is, but everybody looks good in that T-shirt.
Yes, they do.
Go, boom. There it is.
I'm going to give me a T-shirt when I'm going to put Lakers on there or something, man, because that just look good on me, man. Hey,
tomorrow's show is going to be Chris versus Coach Cam. I just want everybody to pay attention. I'm going to ask this man some important questions in life, okay? And depending on how they answer these questions is going to depend on, how I look at them in the future, man. It's just like that, Coach. It's just like that, Coach.
This is interesting. I don't even know. Hey, you know what's crazy? I don't even know what the questions are yet. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be raw emotion. So I'm anxious to get to tomorrow so we can get it on.
All right, you guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.
Take it easy, everybody.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces.